Greetings folks, and welcome back to the pod once again. Thank you for joining me. Okay, quite a bit's been done since the last video, so hopefully I'll be able to show you some changes. We've got some track laid. I'm hoping to get it wired as well, and I've also got on with some scenics. So we'll show you that later on, but let's get on and show you where I started with the platform walling and the village at the end. I'll catch you later in the video. Thanks again, hope you enjoy it. Bye for now. Right, so carrying on from where we left off in the last video, I'm going to put the platform edging on now, and it'll go on something like that. So what I used is the Pico platform edging. I've cut the little nipply bits off from the back that the Pico platform fits into, and I don't use the red brick or the grey stone stick-on ones that Pico supply, because I find they're a little bit low relief and not really very good. And you can either use plasticard like I've got here, and either in brick or in stone, and put a plasticard on there, or as I'm going to do on this one, I'm using ordinary Metcalf card and just cut it that height there. I always had the top correct. The bottom doesn't matter so much because it would be ballasted up to the bottom. So once, sorry about that, the battery went off. Yeah, so once in position, ballasted along the bottom, that's the sort of effect you'll get, and it's a nice neat finish up against the platform. So I'm going to do that now. All I do is nail these with the little track pins. You can see where I've done it previously, to the platform edging. So I'm going to do that, and I'll show you that once I've got some new battery and it's all charged up, and I can show you the finished job. So there we go, it's just nailed on. As I say, the little Pico nails or Hornby nails, that sort of thing, and that's all I've used. About 2 or 3 in each, just to hold it fairly flat against the edge of the wood, and then we've got a nice straight platform. So the next bit now is putting on the frontage, the paper or card or plastic card, whatever you decide to use as a frontage. Okay, so I painted the white ratio fencing and made it into a cream, and reinstated the embankment along the back of the platform, and put the fencing along. The points are still got to go in yet, and the point rodding, etc. But we're getting some nice little scenes coming up now. We've got the car park there, car park entrance, and there'll be a hedgerow along the back of the car park, I expect. And then the 2 tracks there will come up to the walling, and there'll be a wall along above the platform sort of wall. So there we go. So next phase now, I guess, is to actually lay the points. I really must think about doing that, and then reinstating the other bits and pieces. So yeah, I made a start by doing the points, and this time I'm modifying them as I've done in the past. When you get a brand new Pico point, in the little tiny recess there, you can just about see there's 2 little wires that bridge the moving rail to the frog. So you need to remove those 2 with a little fine screwdriver or something, and you can see I've taken the 2 there out of this one here. You then bridge the moving rail to the stock rail, and they're colour coded because these will also form the power feed for the track and the points, because they'll go into the bus bar underneath. So they're underneath. That one wants tidying up a little bit. I've dropped a bit too much solder on that one, but again, they're down below the sleeper level, so they won't show too much once you've ballasted and sprayed the track, etc. And then what you have to do is to either put a switch in or something to switch the polarity of the frog. You've got the little frog wire here, which just about see standing up, but what I use is the Gauge Master Auto Frogs. Now there's 3 in a pack, or you can buy them as 3 in a pack, or you can buy them singular, and on the back they have a little tiny, or 3 little pads, one in each corner marked R, and then one under the centre, not focusing very well, which is marked F. And for that, all you do is the frog wire goes onto the F, and then the red and the blue, or whatever colour you're using for your bus bar, goes onto the 2 marked R for rail. And it does not matter which way around you put those two. And what that does, it switches the polarity of the frog automatically as a loco goes over it. Only as a loco goes over it. So under normal circumstances it would be switched one way or the other on the frog, but as the loco travels over it, the loco automatically activates the DCC-80 auto frog, and that switches the polarity of the frog for you. So a brilliant little piece of kit, and it stops stalling with short wheelbase locos. So I've got to get on and do the rest of these now, so that will take me a few hours. I meant to say that with the auto frogs, they are for DCC layouts only, really. They do not work on analog layouts for switching the point blades. Okay, so the buffers are now in place. Got one of my locos arrived from a friend of mine, so it will need a chip in it, but that's just in position there at the moment. So the buffers, the roadway will go in behind there, and then station car park and the station down there. So that's where we're at the moment. So I've now made a start on wiring the control panel up. I'm not doing the fascia panel until I'm absolutely happy with everything. I should just have the switches hanging loose like this. So what we've got here is a feed here, which is the 2 orange wires are 16 volt AC, and the black and the red are 12 volt DC for the lighting. So 2 orange for the points, 2 red and black for the lighting, and that's got a female connector on it, and it's going into the male up on the main board. Next to that I've got a male connector that goes into a female, so you can't put the two in the wrong way round, and this is the track feed and the programming track, so they go in up there. And the reason they're at that angle is that if I was to lift this board up and to turn it over, having forgotten to unplug those, they will automatically just pull out anyway. That's the theory anyway. So the 2 wires, or the 2 lots of wires, then come in through the side of here onto the main panel, and then here we've got, at the moment I've wired up this switch, which is the 3-way, or it's a 2-way switch with a centre off, and that's for the programming track, which is the head shunt around here. So I can use the head shunt to program locos, or I can just use it to run in and out in the normal way. And then the rest are on there, and again the bottom row unplug, so I'll be able to take the fascia panel off like I could before. So we're getting there now. So I've just done the track cuts on this board here where the join is, so you've got to see the join. There we go. So there's a track cut there, and there's one at the back there. And I've also put the feeds in around here for coming off the fiddle yard, so we've got a feed there, and that goes underneath, and again there's a female male plug there, which will be for the fiddle yard board, so that if I want to take the sector plate off from the layout, that will just unplug and come off in its own right as well, so I haven't got to worry about things like that. And then the wires will go around, and there'll be another male female there to join up onto the main board. And I'm going back to the gauge master on this one because there will be nothing with sound. It's just going to be steam locos, so they won't have any light functions, so it's just going to be a straightforward DCC for the 2 diesels that I've got at the moment and the steam locos. And I've got a CDU there to give me a kick for the point, because I'm hoping to wire 3 points into one up here. I'm hoping that that crossover there and that one can all three be wired in together, so that I can set the route to either come down the main, or if I switch over to come into the yard, that one automatically changes to the branch and this one will be on the main. Switch it the other way and this gives you a head shunt so that it acts like a catch point. So that's the theory on that. So yeah, it's all coming together now. So anyway, let's finish off and I'll show you where we're up to with everything else. And just to say here, I've got 3 points wired into one switch. So leaving the station, if the train is coming around here, this point is set as well, but this point is set for the head shunt so that it acts also as a track point. If this point is switched to come in here, then that one over there switches to go up to the branch and acts like a track point for that one as well. So one switch operates that point and that point. Right, we'll finish off with an overview of where we're at. So the village is more or less as I've decided to do it now, and the harbour piece will go in along there with the road going up to the village, and three cottages and the pub, and then the road going back down there into the station car park. And right, so where we've got the block of wood there, I've got the ratio cattle dock. That's going to go in there now, so I can more or less work out what size I need for there. I said in the previous video about a provender store, I've actually gone for the goods shed, which is almost the same as the sort that was at Bodmin, and it actually fits in quite well. The road at the front here is going to be the coaling road, and then the tracks come on down, and the little spur there that's not completed yet will go to the dairy, and then the junction to the right is the one that will go off onto the sort of Weybridge Boscarn Junction line, and that runs around the back, and then it eventually, excuse the mess here, it feeds into this point here, which will then line up with this track on the fiddle yard once I've done the sector plate fiddle yard there. And then again, as I said in the last video, there'll be at least 4 tracks going back, kicking back as storage tracks that will come off the sector plate around there, so that can move out and around. And all the 5 tracks on here will line up with this one as the entry and exit. The other track that comes round in the foreground is the main line that comes in from Bodmin. There's a head shunt there, and then it comes in around. The strange thing with the Wentford Bridge branch was that the only access to the Wentford Bridge was from the main platform, so goods trains had to be shunted around the yard and then put into the main platform for departure to Wentford Bridge. Likewise, anything coming up from Wentford Bridge for the goods yard had to be shunted out onto the main line and then back into the goods yard here. So that's where we're up to. We've got a little bit of nice scenics along the back there now with the fencing. I've got some platform lamps coming. I'm not one for having lamps lit up all the time, but I felt that like I did with Trewithen, if I've got some lamps that will light up, I can do an evening scene. The railway would not have run at night, but come winter time, sort of 4 o'clock-ish, they probably had station lamps on, and certainly some lights in the building. So I'm hoping to put lights in a couple of the buildings as well. The station, when it arrived, the station building has already got LED lights in it, so they'll be wired up as well. So there we go. So that's the overview of where we are at the moment. I forgot to show you the signal box. I've gone for a small signal box, which is, it looks a bit southern region. It says trackside signal box. Okay, I'm hoping to put it at the end of the platform and maybe trying to get it so it covers over that latch. So in other words, I'll build up an area around here for it to sit on, and then it will plonk over the top of that latch, so when I want to take the baseboards apart I can just lift the signal box out. That's the plan at the moment. I may have to just put it up onto the platform and cut into the embankment, but we'll see about that later on. But I'm rather pleased with the way the fencing's gone, and the piece of embankment that was there before has been reinstated, and yeah, quite pleased with the overall look of it so far. So the goods yard's not laid, as I say, so that will be a job to do before hopefully the next video, and we'll get some wiring done. So thanks once again for joining me, and hopefully we'll see you in another week or so when we've got a bit more done. Thanks now, cheers, happy modelling, stay safe, bye for now.